That was really good.
And we're live.
Hello, sister friend. How are you?
Hello, sister friend. I am good. I hope everything's set up right. It looks like it could be.
Is it recording? That's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, should it show a time or
Yeah, the
anything?
time
Oh,
should be
yes.
going
Yeah,
up. Okay.
we're going. We're live.
Look at that nice background. Look at all those bottles.
I think our first sponsor should be an alcohol brand.
I
We should just
know.
post them up here. Shout out if you are Bacardi or
Hendrix.
Screwball. Most
Anyways.
importantly, Maker's Mark.
Oh, of course. Hello. Hi. How are you?
I am good. I've been texting you throughout the day, so I feel like I can't give you a full recap of the
No, but
day.
I've been anxiously
And
waiting to hear about the doctor's appointment.
oh my goodness. Okay, so we're starting off just real quick, real hot with Zoe has ADHD and it has been confirmed. Okay, so I get to the doctor. They're like, okay, who's your last doctor? I'm like, I don't know, a pediatrician? They're like, when's the last time you've gone to the doctor? And I was like, I always go to the doctor, just not the main doctor. I'm religiously at the dentist's office.
Well,
I'm
listen,
always getting my eyes checked.
we are an instant urgent care family.
I'm telehealthing.
Yeah, I called the doctor on my cell phone to get a diagnosis. I don't know the last time I saw an actual physician in front of me.
Yeah, and I felt like maybe there is an avenue to getting diagnosed with ADHD that is not just going to a doctor, but I didn't know what to do. And it took me 6, 7 years to actually just get the ball rolling by going to a primary care physician, which is, I think, the first red flag to there might be an issue here.
Okay, but
So
did it go
anyway, so
okay?
yeah, so I went. They were like, "Do you have any issues?" And I was like, "Look, I think I might. I don't know what to do, but I think I have ADHD." And they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll just test you." Like, okay, test me. You're gonna hook me up to some like how do you know? How do you know? It turns out they just give you a sheet of paper, and the answers
They say
are
fold
like
it.
they're like answer these questions. I'm like, no, I it's so hard for me to sit still and just sit down and read these questions and answer them. But and while like she was doing that, she was asking me other questions, and then I was like, is this part of the test, or is she just also trying to get to know me as a patient? But she was great. But anyway, the questions were like, does it feel hard to sit through a meeting? Yeah. Does it, do you feel like you have compulsive things that feel like you have to do? Like, yeah, every time that I'm driving, I have to push my hands down in a line with the dotted lines. Like, I drive truck for a living. It's, it makes me insane. Um, is it hard for you to complete tasks with multiple steps? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it was an entire sheet of paper with like disagree, somewhat disagree, sometimes, all the
My
time,
favorite
every
type of
day
personality quiz.
type thing. Yes. And what I was finding was like on every single one, I was saying every day. And then I was like, does this look suspicious? So then I started marking some with somewhat because it was like, I don't want to go, I don't want this person to think I'm insane. And also, I don't want her to think that I'm like making this up or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
Okay,
you just
a little bit of
worry.
imposter
I don't,
syndrome with the doctor. That's fine.
yeah, but there were two of this full quiz that I did not meet. I do not have an issue with, and that was one was getting to meetings on time and like remembering meetings because like I live and die by my schedule on my phone.
Right.
Like so I've found a way to make it work. And the other one was, do you feel like you need to leave meetings like and leave and like get up and walk around? And the answer is no, because I don't have a job where I have to do
Yeah,
that.
you're not like sitting tied to a desk. Interesting.
But
Okay.
like but I can sit in a chair all day. It's just like I won't be paying attention to what's being said. But anyway, so that was the quiz. She instantly looks at it and is like, "So yeah, I think we're gonna be going down this path, but like I can't just like give you Adderall today," which is fantastic. Good.
Yeah.
So I have I have to get a blood test next week just to make sure that my liver is functioning good, and then it also like is a blood thinner. So they just need to make sure all my levels are good. Obviously, I haven't had a blood test in a long time, so I couldn't give her what my like standard levels are. And then I'll go back to the doctor in a week. I think she will give me the drugs, and then I have to go back every week for a little while so they can like make
Yeah.
sure that my blood's
And
still
it's like
good.
the right
And then
dosage for you. Um,
yes,
is the Adderall shortage in Ohio, like, is that affecting patients in Ohio? Did that come up in the
I have no
appointment?
idea. That did not come up in the appointment, and I also don't know anyone in Ohio who takes Adderall. I probably do.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know people. I just don't know that they're on Adderall. So I cannot speak to
Oh,
that. I cannot
interesting.
comment towards that, but I will know more next
Also,
week.
sister friend, we're 5.5 minutes in and we never introduced ourselves.
Oh,
Does this mean we're
yeah. No,
really
we
good
should do
at
that.
this or we're really bad at this? You
I'm feeling
start
like this
because
is
I feel like most people will know who you are.
okay. So yeah, so I'm Zoe, and I'm pulling what one would call a Matt Rife move. Are you familiar with Matt Rife?
No.
Okay, so he is a guy who's a
Oh,
comedian.
yes.
He's
That like
actually
is like kind not like anti-women, but like jokes that like
yeah.
don't align
So
well with his
so
audience.
yeah. So the synopsis is that like guy has a large female following, gets a Netflix special, goes on to make a Netflix special for not his demographic that he has, and so obviously his loyal fan base was like, what the heck, bro? So for me,
Oh
like
gosh.
if for people that are watching this that may have found me and they're like, oh, I have to check out this thing. I am a farmer here in Ohio. I post every single day under the username Farm with Zoe online. And so that is full farming content all day, every day. I feel like I do enough there. This is going to be a different thing. Farming will come up, I am sure. We'll talk about farming, what we got going on, but like this is not, I repeat, this is not a farming based podcast.
Mainly
So
because
if
her
you're here,
co-host here, not a farmer.
yes. So that's my spiel. So farmer, I'm going to be 29 very soon, and I'm also soon to be wed, as they say, which is weird because I'm a child.
Yeah, that's crazy that you are a child bride and you will be walking down the aisle this year.
So
Wild.
tell us about you. You're the more exciting one. You're the elusive one who once a year shows up on my
I
page.
do. I am Zoe Kent's little sister, which is what I went by for the first 15 years of my life because I did every single thing Zoe did, and everyone just called me that. Until
Except for side note, she did all those things that I did, but
only
better than
because I
me.
started younger. Like you started at 6, so that meant I was there at 4, which is actually not math because you're 4 years older than me. So I was there too. Anyways, I am Kenzie. Hello. Hi. I am Zoe's sister, and I live in New York City, which is good and bad and amazing and the worst place on earth, and also the greatest city alive. And I'm not a farmer, although I was a 4-H and FFA kid. I work in museums. I work in a museum here. I do special events, so I'm essentially an event planner. But yeah, that's like all there is to know about me. I have a cat. Her name's
You
Martini.
you just live like the coolest life. Like you're just doing all of the things.
No, you're doing all of the things. Zoe has 6 jobs. I have one job, and then the rest is to rot in my bed. That's all I do with my time is lay in my bed and read my books and play with my cat. And it's the greatest life I could ever have.
We love it. We love it. So, can you tell me like so the podcast is going to be called Sister Friend Pod, Sister Friends Pod.
Sister
I don't
friends.
know. Just to be clear, there are a whole lot of defunct podcasts that had a similar title of friends being sisters, sisters being friends. I'm not sure. They don't seem like they're active anymore, so we're taking the
I just
name.
need it to be known that Sister Friend did not come about because we wanted to start a podcast. No, 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 no. We have been using the term sister friend for like, I don't know, 4 years.
Oh, I feel like it has to be longer than that because I think I called you that when I was in college, which was 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, and I was thinking about the origin of Sister Friends and how we came up with that so loving title for each other. And I think it's because Dad and his sister call each other brother and sister. Like when they see each other, instead of being like, "Hey Zoe," my aunt's like, "Hey brother." And I have never heard of anyone else ever doing that. But then I think I started calling you sister, and I don't know how sister friend happened, but
I know, but the explanation is that we are sisters who are friends, whereas sometimes you have a friend that feels like a sister, and sometimes you just have a sister, and sometimes you just have a friend. But we're both.
absolutely. There are so many different dynamics that you can have going on there, and all are fine and great in their own different way. But I think being a sister friend who is a sister and also a friend is the most premium level of friendship and sisterhood you could have.
I have nothing else to say. I mean, that's put
Anyways,
perfectly with a little bow.
so sister friend is a term that we legitimately call each other. Like, not even, I just about knocked over a glass. I'm getting so passionate about this phrase that we have coined, even though apparently other people call each other that too. Just simply.
I mean, the audacity of other people to have, like, but we came to
When
this on our own.
yeah, when
Like,
I told
I'd
Zoe,
never heard of it.
Zoe was like, we should start a podcast, and I was like, we should call it Sister Friends because we're not very creative, and what else are we going to call it? And I thought this was the most original thought I've ever had in my life. And then we start Googling, and other people have been calling each other their sister friends. Like, once again,
Well,
I've never once had my own original thought. Okay,
no one has. I believe that no one
Zoe,
has.
I have to know, you added this in the notes. What are your biggest fails of 2023?
Oh no. My biggest fails. Well, for starters, I did lose a farm. That was humbling. Um, in farming, like I have
She
not
lost a
spoke about
farm
this at
while she
all
was in New York, too.
publicly. I was actually in New York with my sister friend, which did make it better. I did think this was coming. I wasn't blindsided by this. I had had a landlord that passed away. The ground got transferred down. The people wanted to do a 1 year lease before they figured out what they wanted to do long term. And long term, their vision was not having me farm their ground. So it's fine. It happens, but it is like a blow to the ego because like the thing about farming is like people always ask how many acres do you farm? And like in any business, the more the better. So it's just like a little bit of an ego blow. So that was probably one of the worst things to happen in 2023 to me. Let's turn to you now. Give me one of your fails of
I'm gonna
2023.
be honest with you.
Oh, you've never had anything bad happen to you because you get everything you
Everything
want.
I've ever wanted has come true. No, but I had a good year. I finished my master's. I got a job promotion. Um, I didn't leave my
Nothing bad
bed.
happened to you. No. So what you're saying is, I mean, I had fantastic things happen to me too. That was like the
Yeah.
easiest one that came to
I
mind.
mean, just like general wear and tear of the day, you know? Every once in a while, I wake up and I realize I work a very traditional 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job, aside from when we have actual events. And I do sometimes have this like realization that I'm gonna have to like work 40 hours for the, next like 40 years. And like that's really scary, like really confronting adulthood. Um, but in terms of like major fails, I think I'm like okay. But with that said, my highs were not as high as your highs were.
I did have some pretty high highs. I'm trying to think of it. Besides
You got
obviously getting
engaged,
engaged, but like
but also
but
that
that
happened
isn't
in New
a
York. So I see New York is like the through line for you.
everything comes back to New York. But like for some reason for me, like I immediately go to like goals in business and things like that, and then I'm like, well, like I didn't accomplish getting engaged, like because I mean that Tanner and I both, I mean we spoke about this, we knew it was going to happen. like this was the trajectory of the relationship. So like I feel like I didn't like earn it. I
Have
don't
you
know. Does that make
ever
sense?
told like your social media the story of you getting engaged?
No, because I posted a picture of our engagement. People instantly got racist and mean. And then I was like, okay, you guys don't get any Tanner. No Tanny Banana for you.
Ah, well, just so
Which is
everyone knows, I was the failure of the night.
so yes, no, let's talk about it.
Okay,
I want your POV.
I will tell you everything. So Zoe calls me like a day before she comes to New York. And she's like, "Do you think Tanner's gonna propose?" And I was like,
No, no, no. You said I thought you
maybe
said
I asked. I was like, "Is Tanner gonna propose?" And Zoe says,
suitably.
"No." We were both like, "Could be interesting, but like, we don't know." Anyway, so then he comes and I'm supposed to get dinner with Zoe because she's visiting me in New York and we're all supposed to have dinner together. And Tanner weirdly is like, actually, we're going to do dinner alone, which, like, red flag. You're in New York. Why wouldn't you see me? Hello. Um, and then when he canceled the dinner and you guys were going out, I then called mom and dad because I was like, these two fools won't lie to me. And I was like, look me in the eyes. Is Tanner going to propose? And they were like, no, no, no. They think he's going to do it in Hawaii because you had that trip planned. And so I was just like, let the thought go. I'm like, oh, it's just like simply not going to happen. And Tanner had been really weird. He was like, hey, Kenzie, why don't you come back to our hotel after dinner before we all go out and get drinks? And I was like, no, that's weird. I'm not going to like go hang out in your hotel. And he was like, oh, we left a key for you at the front desk. And I was like, no, that's so weird. Like, I'm not going to just like hang out in your hotel room and wait for you.
And disclaimer, like you were getting dinner with my friends.
Yeah.
Like so you would have had to
I was like, I'm
leave
gonna
my
go and hang
friends.
out with your friends who you're gonna meet up with later. And so I'll just like, be already out when you guys come out. Well, so then we all meet up and Zoe and Tanner end up coming and we meet up together and we realize she got engaged. And Tanner did it at their hotel room after dinner. And I was supposed to be there to like take pictures for them and like be a part of the moment. And meanwhile, I was not there. I was getting drinks with Zoe's friends and I missed the whole thing. And I was like, Tanner, why didn't you tell me I could have been there? I could have been like the most supportive sister friend and like really been a part of this moment with you guys. And Tanner was like, I couldn't tell you. Of course you would tell Zoe, which like I would. I'm not if I'm anything, it's not good at keeping secrets. Like I will tell Zoe. So
Well, and
it's
like not
fair.
just like just tell me. Like it would have come out somehow.
No, Zoe would have looked at me for like a millisecond too long, and I would have been like, "By the way, Tanner's gonna propose this weekend." Like that, I know myself, and myself is a liar, so I can't keep a secret. And so it was fine. I'm like gonna regret that for the rest of my life, but like it was beautiful, and you got to have a nice moment with all your friends. And I was there just a little later.
I mean, you never like my friend Alexa. She got engaged, and I had been invited to like they were doing a thing at her house, and she lives pretty far away from me. I had a kind of busy day, and so it's just like you know what, not this time. Well, no, that was like the time I should have gone. So like everyone has that story because if you just don't know, but like the person proposing, like for you, Tanner made the right call. Um, but like had someone told me that like my friend was getting engaged, like I simply just I can lie. No, that's not the right like thing. But
No, you can lie. That's good.
like I
I
wasn't
cannot.
around her. Like I would have just like I'm good at holding a secret.
Yeah.
That's I'm not good at lying. I'm good at holding a secret.
Well, I'm not, but our
Okay,
parents are because then I had to later call up mom and dad and be like, we have beef. You guys knew and you were supposed to let me in and no one told me. And they were like, Kenzie, of course we can't tell you. You've told Zoe every single thing since you've been able to talk. Like, obviously you would have blown it, which I would have. I'm not denying that, but like, I just want to feel like I was in on it.
right, yeah. Okay, so my POV. So yeah, the day before you were like, "Is this gonna happen?" I was like, "No," because I thought it'd be Hawaii, but I was suspect about the dinner on her own. But like, I don't know. Sometimes like Tanner just gets an idea in his head on what he wants to do, and it made sense because he was like, "I have always just wanted to go to a fancy restaurant with my girlfriend in New York City." I was like, I mean. We've both been in New York a lot, just not together. And so I was like, okay, this is it. And Tanner likes like when we're on a trip, he likes us to go off and do our own thing. because independent queens. And so we go to dinner, and Kenzie texts me as we leave dinner. She's like, "So are you engaged yet?" I was like, "No." Um, and so then like we're walking back to our hotel room, and I was like, "I really just don't like. I think he would have done it by now if he was going to do it on this trip." And like I kind of I figured it was either this or Hawaii. But we go back to the hotel room, and he's like picking at his face in the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, if he was going to propose, he wouldn't be like picking at his face in the bathroom, right? Like, I don't know. But he did say like we need to take a photo together, which I was like, that's 1,000% a red flag, because he's never suggesting that we need to take a picture together. Like, neither of us, we're not picture people. We're just simply aren't. And so then we go out onto the balcony, because this hotel has a balcony. And I immediately, like, so he sets up the camera, take photos. I immediately ruined the whole thing, because I'm just like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it so much. Like, the poor man couldn't get a word out,
Zoe
because I was
just
just talking, and then
had to be a know-it-all.
I had to be a know-it-all, and then I like he presented the ring, and I said, "Can I put it on?" I just took it out and shoved it on my finger, because like for some reason, my whole life, you think of this moment when you're getting engaged, and I've always been worried that the ring wouldn't fit my finger, because my fingers, like, they puff up, with like
Hmm.
sodium, like they'll swell, and I'm like, my ring size is like four different sizes depending on the day and how much sodium I've had. And so I was like, I've always had this fear of like, I get the ring, it won't fit on at all. So I'm shoving that ring on me to make sure. So it didn't make for the most
Okay, but
aesthetically
it did
pleasing
fit,
photos and
everyone.
video.
Everyone know it fit.
It did fit. It did fit, and it exceeded all expectations. Like, fantastic, fabulous ring. Like,
Yeah.
obviously that's not like the main concern
No,
here,
but
but I
really
was
chef's
wowed
kiss.
for sure. Chef's kiss. He did well. He did well for himself. So then my next main concern, we FaceTime our parents. My mom clearly already knows, because she's on the lawnmower, and she's like, just give me a minute. I need to walk to your dad. She proceeds to walk up the entire driveway saying, don't say anything. So I'm like, okay, so she clearly knows, like, this is the phone call coming in, because
I
like
love that she knew it was
no normal
happening, and she's like, "You know what I have to do? Mow the lawn."
mow that yard. So yeah, so then she power sprints up to the house, gets dad, and then they're like, so then like on the FaceTime, I'm like, you guys clearly know what this is. So then I showed them ring, and then so then we were like, okay, we need to meet up with our friends. And I was like, oh, this is fun and exciting for me, because now I get to like surprise my friends with it. But you guys were having yourself the time, and I was like, there is a 30% 30% chance we actually meet up with them at some point this evening,
Well,
because
and we
you
were
guys were off
both,
having your own
it was
adventure.
crazy. We were both downtown. Zoe and Tanner were with Tanner's other group of friends at like this nice bar, and we were not one track minded. We were mini track minded. And we went to the 9/11 memorial. Alexa and I were singing down the streets in front of the stock exchange. We were skipping to the bowl. We were doing everything but going to the bar to see Zoe and Tanner. Because
Yeah, and
at
you
that
guys,
point, when I had texted Zoe before he proposed, but after the restaurant, have you gotten engaged yet? She said no. I told everybody, I was like, it must not be happening. Zoe wouldn't lie. She's not a liar to me. And so then we just like put it out of our minds, and we were like having a good time. We'll see you when we see you.
yeah, so we go to a restaurant, we meet up with, so Tanner has some friends that, we both have friends, they're my friends too, but Tanner's friends first. So we meet up with them at a bar, and so they're like, we're just like chatting, because we haven't seen them in like a year at this point, and they're like, so like, what have you guys been up to? And like, oh, like, we got engaged. And they're like, oh, when did that happen? And we're like a half an hour ago. And they were like, they were they were shocked beyond belief, just because like I think they had assumed like, oh, that happened a little bit ago, and somehow they'd like
Yeah,
missed
they
it or
didn't realize
something.
they were the first
um
people getting to see you in person post engagement.
yeah, but they were thrilled, they were so fun. And so then I was like, okay, we need to get Kenzie here and everyone here. And then I got nervous, because then I was like, well, do I say something, do I just not do anything? And then and then you guys came, and I think it took you like, what, 30 seconds, a minute to like see my
I
ring
sat
on.
down, and Zoe's room was simply the size of the chair I was sitting on, and so I mean, I couldn't miss it. But then I tried to play it cool because like I knew she wasn't like saying anything on purpose.
well, but like I just didn't know what to say. So yeah, it was like I think you grabbed my hand and it was like underneath the table or something. You were like whispering at me, and so then I just like I didn't know what to do, and so then Jamie was sitting like
Yeah, he was
so
sitting
my friend
next to
Nicole,
me.
her boyfriend, he noticed it next and he said something to Nicole and Nicole started instantly crying and then like she's crying, Alexa figures out they're all crying, everyone's crying. We decide to
Except
be
for Zoe and
because
I.
because we could simply never.
I've tried many times to have a tear come to the eye in terms of Zoe and this wedding she's putting on. I flew home from New York to go dress shopping with her. She found the dress. I was thinking of the saddest thoughts I could to bring a tear to the eye, because that's what you see on Say Yes to the Dress. And I, Zoe and I are just not that emotional of
Well,
gals.
we're not like I mean, I can cry out of frustration, but I'm not like a happiness
Oh,
crier. I'm not like a
absolutely.
crier in general. Like it has to really get to like a beyond horrible situation for me to cry, but like
Yeah, actually,
never
the
a
only
happy
time I
tear.
cry is when I'm mad and it's super embarrassing. It's like when I
Yeah.
can't articulate myself because I'm so mad and I start crying, which is the worst time to cry.
Yeah. But it's like that's one of the reasons like my friends are fantastic, like abound to me because like Alexa and Nicole can cry at the drop of a hat. Like which is fantastic because
We
they're like
need
in
those
tune with their
people.
emotions and it's just lovely. So, but yeah, that so that are we circling back to our highs of 2023? Was that whole
Yeah, that
tangent was
whole
that?
thing was the biggest tie for probably you and I both.
For
Um,
us all.
because then after that, we went and had a fabulous weekend in Long Island, and
Oh my
the
goodness,
party
we
just
did.
couldn't stop.
The party couldn't stop and it was like one thing after another. Like my friend Kylie, she had to come in a day late and then so then it was like catching Kylie up with the whole thing and the winery, the pool,
Winery, another winery, bus, bar,
club, another club. No,
pool.
mostly just wineries. I spilled a drink on Justin. I mean, it was just so much fun, so little time, a little bit of chaos mixed with a lot of bit of fun.
No, it was so fun. That was a really fun weekend this summer. But as we transition into 2024, do you have New Year's resolutions?
I have goals and I have resolutions and I have to pull them up because I've already forgotten them. But my one of my goals for 2023, I like gave myself a like a word of the year. And that word of the year was focus. And obviously I did not succeed at that word, but I did this week in the first week of 2024 with going to talk to someone about clearly having an issue. So I feel like I'm off to a great start by finishing last year's goal this week.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
honestly, great.
okay, I cannot find my
I'll
goals.
start.
Oh, that's because they're on my computer. So you start as I find mine.
Okay, so we can start with last year. So my resolution for 2023 was to wear more color, which I actually feel like I kind of did. I was also just like very intentional about what I was buying. Obviously, I've lived in New York for 3 years now. Well, coming up on 3 years. And the New York uniform is all black. And I work in a museum, which the uniform is all black. I everything in my closet is black. And I just wanted to try to get out a little bit of that and, get in some color. And so I was really purposeful when I was buying clothes, that I was buying colorful clothes and I wasn't just buying a black sweater every single time. So I feel like I did do that. I realize now I'm wearing a black sweatshirt with three black coats in the background, but like we're all a work in progress, okay? So for 2024, I decided I should incorporate vegetables into my life, into my stomach. I want to help my skin. And I'm doing this the easy way with taking a supplement rather than actually eating a vegetable, which I understand. This is taking like an AG1 or whatever green juice supplement. It's not like equal to eating vegetables. I know that. Look, we're trying one thing at a time, and we're just going to slowly start incorporating more vegetables. But I've taken AG1 for 5 days now in a row, and honestly, the taste is growing on me. I don't like immediately gag when I smell it. And I think I'm glowing. So that was the first one. And then my second goal is to read 52 books because I only read
Okay, wait.
48.
Before we get into 50, that's so many bucks. But we have to talk about the athletic greens of it
Oh,
all
yeah,
before
sorry.
this. So I've taken three different greens, and every single one I've come out swinging hard on the first day, being like, "This is absolutely disgusting." But you're saying like, and then I immediately my palate changes and I like it.
Yeah.
But you're
No, so
saying you're
like
already
the
adapted.
first day, took a swig. Oh my God, it was medicine. Like it tasted like the medicine you take when you're 4 and you have a cough and like you can't swallow pills yet. And then like literally the first day I had to do it in 2 big chugs, like pretending it's tequila, throwing it back. And then every day since then, I still try to chug it as fast as possible when I'm still asleep, so I don't remember taking it. But it like even this morning, I realized I was like, oh, I'm not immediately gagging. I think I'm gonna be okay.
Okay, and so like what I found too is like the more you dilute it, the less bad it tastes, but then obviously that's more liquid to have
Yeah,
too.
I do like strictly the 8 ounces. I put it in the water bottle the night before, so it's like as cold as it can be. And I do it, I have an espresso. I have 2 shots of espresso every morning. And after I put my little pot in and put my cup and it's brewing, I do it, I drink it in the time between my, right before my coffee's done. So it's like on an empty stomach or whatever, and it's fresh out the fridge, which is like whatever you're supposed to do. Um, and then it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. AG1 still sponsor
But you're
us though,
doing it. Yes.
because I'm still
Yes.
gonna take it.
Doing the dang
I'm gonna take
thing.
it every gosh darn day of 2024.
Yeah, no matter what. Um, we shouldn't tell them that though for leverage, but you know. So okay, so you read what 1,000 books last year, and now you're gonna read a
I
thousand and four
read
more.
48 books, which like I have already previously said, I go to work and then I bed rot for the rest of the day. And what else are you supposed to do when you're bed rotting besides to read a book? And so, yeah, I read 48 books. I wanted to read 50 and I didn't make it there, which I'm going to make up for it because I'm going to read 52 this year.
Okay, but like also like bed rotting, I feel like is you're sitting on your bed and you're scrolling your phone. Like you're doing bad for yourself. But like you're learning, you're in a different immersive world,
Yeah,
you're
learning a little bit less,
looking at
but
big words.
and I'm reading like psychological thrillers. I'm trying to like scare myself into sleeping. Um, but I'm loving it. I go back and forth.
Interesting
Sometimes I get
technique.
really into TV and I'm like really sucked into the Bravo of it all and I'm like really into Summer House and Vanderpump Rules. But then other weeks I'm like, I'm gonna read my book of the month. That's the one thing
Hmm.
I also people not enough people are talking about how expensive the habit of reading is. I do a lot of Libby, which is using like with the public library system, but a lot of the times the books I want to read, they're just not available yet because they're popular. So then I just bite the bullet and buy them. And that is an expensive hobby.
Oh, for sure. So I recently saw a friend had posted at her local library. Every time you get a book, it tells you how much money you've saved, and it gives her like a per this book, per the year, per ever, and she'd saved like $400. And I think that is a great way to like promote people using their local library. But yeah, it is really frustrating because like I know if you like try to get on a list to read a book, it can take like literally a year to
Yeah.
get
Yeah, I'm
and we don't
gonna
have the patience for that.
reread and read for the first time a lot of Stephen King novels this year. And luckily, like when I get those on Libby, the wait's not usually that long if there's a wait at all. But if you want to read the new, like Britney Spears book, like that wait was like 6 to 8 weeks or
Yeah,
longer, you
it's
know.
simply not working. But yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so those
So I
are
like
my
that.
two.
Okay, so
What are yours?
okay. Okay, so I have three. I have a farm goal, a farm with Zoe goal, and a health and wellness goal. And so for my farm goal, it's to farm more ground. Um, we'll see because my track record is only losing at this point.
Just start farming
But
like your
you never know.
backyard. Just like get closer and closer to
Yeah,
your
I'm just gonna
house.
take out all fence rows, take out all trees. Like that's maybe how I'll have to do
Sorry,
it.
parents, you don't get a yard anymore. That's gonna be corn.
Sorry, it's all corn. Everything's corn. My front yard for sure. So that's the farm goal. My farm with Zoe goal, which might become a sister's friend goal, is to post a YouTube every week because everyone's been talking about how like the YouTube is where the money is at. And so as a girl who has a lot of jobs, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm doing all this work with these other social media platforms, why can't I just combine it all together at the end of the week, throw it on up there? But like YouTube, like you have to film in a different orientation, and I don't know. I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm just doing one a week, but what I'm also thinking is that this could just become my one a week YouTube post. So that's my goal there. And then health and wellness. I don't know if you'd say this really counts or not, but I've decided that I'm going to do monthly goals. And so my monthly goal this month
Zoe, what?
is going, and no, I've actually been doing,
My
I've been
goal
doing
is
this
to
for a
set
while.
more goals.
No, so this is the thing. Like backtrack a little bit, vulnerable moment. I used to have an eating disorder. So like I'm not like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like because that gives me stress. Like I don't want something that's like, super regimented. And so I'm like, if I just break it down into monthly things, if I start doing something, I'm like, oh, this is dumb, or not good for me, like I'll just stop doing it and then I'll start over the next month. So this month, my goal is to do yoga 2 times a week. And obviously, I'm just doing the yoga with Adriene on YouTube. I did flow number one and flow number two. So I'm done for the week. But that's my
That's
January goal. And I
amazing.
haven't made other goals for any other months. And I like last year, it completely fell off after harvest because I simply like it was a new month and I forgot about it.
Yeah,
But yeah, so those are my goals. Are they reasonable? I don't know. Are they too much? Maybe, but
that's
we'll see.
that's great. I think that's good. I keep having these like really vivid dreams of me running a marathon, and it's like easy. Like I'm just like running and it's like hard, but it's like easy. And I'm like, am I manifesting becoming a runner? I don't think so. I don't like running. I've tried to become a runner. It's like just not in the cards for me. But I keep waking up and having these dreams like, oh, I just ran a marathon and it was easy.
That's interesting. See, yeah, I've gone back and forth with running before. I've never like I've gotten to times where I've like ran 4 or 5 miles, but like I never once got a runner's high or been like, this is really changing my perspective on life.
Yeah.
But
Running's
like the people that are into running are really into running.
Yeah, running's appealing to me because it's free. Love that. And there's actually really great opportunities to run in New York. You have the entire Central Park. And for those two reasons, I'm kind of interested, but not enough to put on my running shoes and go running. Just, that would cut in too much
Just
to
to be
my
intrigued
bed
in how,
rotting time.
just in your bed rot, you are dreaming of
I know.
marathoning.
And
That's
then I'm like,
interesting.
maybe this is my body being like, you should get up and do something. You have been laying horizontal for 72 hours.
Now, so at your job, like you just sit all day, like you're at a
Yeah,
computer?
so pretty much I sit all day and do meetings, and then when events happen, they're usually always at night. And so that's like a standing portion. Like I'll stand from like 7 to 10. And but it's not like intensive, I'm not like necessarily like running around. But yeah, I would say like 95% of my job is sitting at a computer and typing, or if I'm working from home, laying in my bed and typing.
Yeah, that's like I think a lot of people are like, oh, farmer, that has to be super labor intensive. But like I've been hauling this week and I stand up 6 times a day. I mean, my knees hurt from like sitting so
Okay,
much.
but you're in a truck, like driving for 13 hours. I don't think we talk about that enough. You're a truck driver.
I'm a trucker.
You're literally a
She's
trucker.
a I'm a yeah,
Truck,
I know I
yeah.
saw a truck the other day. I saw a truck that like because I've never been a vehicle person. Like I'm not like this is the kind of car I want to drive. These look cool, these look bad. Like I've been neutral towards all vehicles. But yesterday there was a truck that came in and it was also there today too. And this truck, it was a Kenworth and it was green and that had a off-white stripe around the whole thing. And I do believe it would be considered double stacked because it had two little smokestacky things that looked like chromish. And I was like, that's a good looking truck. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, I think I get it. I think I understand.
That's
So like,
crazy. I've never looked at a semi truck and had a thought in my life.
we'll have to show you like a few different trucks and see if you can like find a visual appeal in any of
It
them.
is
Not
really
mine.
a
Mine are,
crazy that you just like sit in a semi. You can like drive a semi.
I can. Now I don't have a CDL. That is something that I would like to get at some point.
Doesn't that mean you can drive a
But
school
I also
bus
don't
if
need
you have a
it.
CDL?
I do believe the school bus is slightly
Oh,
different.
I'm like, sorry, you could
Because
pick
I
up, you
think
could have a nice job of being a school bus driver.
I don't want that. But like, so I can haul on my farm to the place I sell corn to. Like, so I can't like if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to come haul some loads for me?" I can't do that. I can't start another business. Um, but also like a little part of me is like, if other people on the road need to have all of these tests and they have to know all these things, why do I not need to do a test and know all these things? And I almost feel guilty. It's legal, it's perfectly legal, it's farm exempt, but I'm questioning
Yeah, that's a really
if being
crazy.
exempted, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like also just like something I want to add to my resume someday, but I haven't done it and I
Speaking
have no
of a
plans of
resume,
doing
have
it.
you ever
But
actually made a resume?
so when I was in college, because I was a student athlete, they made sure that you had one at some point, and it was like you had to turn it in so that you had like proof that you were, I don't know, they were trying to make successful students out of the athletes. And so I at one point had a resume, um, but I don't have a current one.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Zoe's never really applied. I mean, you've applied to jobs. You have many a jobs.
No, I haven't applied. I just have them.
Okay.
I've
See,
never applied to a
it makes
job. Oh, no, 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 no. I did apply to a job and I didn't get it. I didn't get it. It was
100%
to be
failure.
it was to be a summer cheerleading coach. And when I went to that interview, I had mono. So I
Mm.
wasn't giving cheerleader energy. Um,
You know, there's
and
a through
I
line
can look
because
back
remember when
now.
you tried to be a camp counselor and they also said you didn't have camp counselor energy?
Yeah, so the thing is about me that like no one would guess is that I'm incredibly shy, which doesn't make sense because like this year I got up on a stage and I talked to thousands of children on a stage. But like put me one on one in an interview with someone I don't know, I quaking in my boots.
That's just so crazy. And it's just so crazy that you've never had to have a job interview for your current job. Like, no one has sat
No.
down and said, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Like, that's so crazy. But also,
Yeah.
you have to work
Yeah, and no
outside.
one, yeah. But I'd love to have a year-end job review for someone because like I have asked dad for that like back in the past when I was working for the man
Hmm.
and he wouldn't give it to me. But like he's too supportive.
Yeah.
He's like they think that anything we do is fantastic and amazing and awesome and like I j- I
No.
know I could have some
That's
areas to
crazy
improve
when you just
upon.
have nice, supportive, loving parents and you just need some constructive criticism.
And
Um,
that's why I have you.
yeah, too bad I don't know anything about farming. I often get asked when I tell people I grew up on a farm and whatever, they're like, well, why aren't you farming? Your sister's farming. Why aren't you farming? One, I have allergies. Okay, I'm not gonna be outside with a sniffly nose. Okay. Two, not gonna work in the cold. Absolutely not. No matter how many layers of Carhartt, it's not enough. I do not like being outside. I do not like the cold. Also, I love a bi-weekly or even weekly paycheck. I not the best with money. I love things. I'm a consumer. That's what I am. I consume. I swipe that card. I can't like, you have to like play the market. You have to like be a stockbroker with your corn. That's not my lifestyle. I would like have two gin and tonics and be like, take the whole bin, Like that's just like it's not for me, and I know that about myself. But I love that you confirm and that you can be the ninth generation,
Eighth
the
generation.
eighth generation.
Wait. Our nephew will be the ninth generation. Yeah, I don't know, because like as you're listing those things, I'm like, yeah, I don't like the cold either, and I also have allergies. But the thing is, for me, like if I had to send more than two emails a week, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I have email anxiety, and it seems like with a 9 to 5 job, you're emailing all day, every day, and that feels terrifying.
Also, cute outfits. Okay, I live like once again, I go to work, I rot in bed. When I'm not rotting in bed, I'm wearing a cute outfit. Like I just want to put on some slacks and a button down, accessorize, throw on a watch, and get out of the town. And you would look like a fool in slacks in a grain bin. Like you can't drive a semi in some pantyhose and a pencil skirt. I mean, you could, but like,
But it'd be weird.
but why would you?
Not yucking anyone's yum, but I wouldn't do that. Yeah,
Not to
yeah,
offend our
yeah.
our pencil skirt wearing truck drivers out there. I see you.
I see you. I hear you. I love you. I don't respect
I
you.
don't understand, but I respect you.
No, I wouldn't hard with not respecting them. No, I'm just kidding. Also, I don't think we're offending anyone because I don't think that's real. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. But yeah, no, I definitely have lots of envy. Like, and I do, like, disclaimer, I do pay myself weekly. But like the money's coming out of me making money. So I have to do things in order to me to have and you know, like if I really messed it all up, I wouldn't have an income. I'd be paying my money back. And yeah, and I do invest my own money into the business, which just makes it feel a little bit risky, like putting my nest egg in the farm, but like you got to do what you got to do when interest is 8%. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I do have a lot of envy on a lot of things because like also just some days like I've been outside in the cold and I come inside and Tanner's just like working casually on the couch with a cat beside him and I'm like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, it is nice. But also, I don't get to work with my dad every day. And so that is one major downfall.
True, true. Um, did I tell you yesterday what he said to me when he called me?
No,
I was okay.
I don't think
I
so.
was loading it. I was loading a semi,
Oh,
and
about him
I had
thanking
like
you?
my
That
yes.
was
Okay,
two
so
days
I
ago. Oh,
had
no, that was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
Tell the
Yeah,
people the
I had
story.
these. Yeah, I had my hearing protection in. I was in the middle of loading a semi, which means that there's lots of moving parts. I was the only one doing it, so like I had to do two jobs at once. And then Dad calls me, and so then I have to shut everything off and I have to run away from the grain bin so that I can answer this call. To which he's like, "Hey, what's up? What you doing?" And I was like, "I'm in the middle of loading this." And he's like, "Oh, I'm not around. I can see." Um, so, I was like, "But I'm going to take one more load, and like call it a day." And he's like, "Oh, you're going to take one more load? Like, thanks so much." Which, like, I love a thank you, but like, what are you thanking me for? Like, because
That man is
I'm not working for
retired.
you.
That man should be
He's just
on a
thankful.
couch watching a movie, having a snack.
I should be thanking him. Like, I just don't know. I don't know.
See,
I
it
don't
just
know.
goes
I
back
think
to
maybe it
having
was just a
nice,
Freudian
appreciative,
slip.
supportive parents that want to make sure that you feel appreciated.
Yeah, he's thankful for me just doing a job as one
Yeah,
arguably should do at 28.
I hope he calls me tomorrow and says, "Thank you for going to work today."
You know that he's going to listen to this at some point and
I
come
know.
here and say exactly
I
that.
know.
Because the two
Immediately,
people that are going to
he's gonna
listen to
pause
this,
this video and he's gonna say, "Kenzie, thank you for going to work."
you do know like the first two listens are maybe mom and dad, and dad's going to have to be like, "Can you look up how to play this?" And then he's going to like it'll be the day he forgets his hearing aids and he'll play it like out loud on his phone, and I'll have to just
I made the
be mortified.
Instagram first follower outside of you and me, mom. I mean, and she
Classic.
called me before we started recording as a little pump up video. I
Wow.
know. She's like, even if no one listens, you two are gonna have fun and you're gonna have nice videos to look back on. And I was like, thanks,
Very true.
Mom.
She also talked me off the ledge a couple days ago, because I was spiraling about work, because a few things had gone wrong. Um, and she, like, I called her because it was an insurance question, and she works in insurance. We can say that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's insurancing. So I asked her an insurance question, which turned into like telling her every bad thing ever in my life. And she's like, how can I fix it? How can I fix it? How can I fix it? And like in that conversation, I was like, okay, I have to be the one to fix these things. But also, I'm going to let you stay on the phone with me and talk me through it,
She's great at that.
which was lovely. Yeah,
Every
she's
year I
great in
file
a
out my taxes, I
stressful
call her up
situation.
for emotional support. I'm like, watch
Well,
me file.
she's always at the meeting for her tax. Like it's me, mom, and dad go to our meeting, which feels silly as an almost 29-year-old, but like the reality of situations, I'm doing their taxes.
Yeah,
Like I'm handing their taxes to the CPA. So like it's don't get it twisted.
that's crazy.
I'm
My
doing theirs and mom's
CPA
doing yours.
is TurboTax.
Well, I that's definitely the way to go when you have like
When you work for the
one piece of
man,
paper
yeah,
when you work for the man, but you have your Schwabby boys.
I do. I
We're
I
investors.
have two pieces of paper that I hand Mr. CPA TurboTax, and Mr. CPA TurboTax goes, "Wow, you don't make that much money." And I go, "It's fine.
Oh.
I don't have many hobbies I have to pay for." Well,
All I have to pay for is books.
books. It's an expensive hobby.
So we didn't get to everything, but that just means we'll have to next week talk about our parents' pets dying.
Oh my
You,
gosh.
I'm just kidding. Also, another topic, it's deeply unsettling when you see a U-Haul driving past you because you know they don't have any experience driving. Also, somewhere, someone put in here that her dream job is to be a librarian,
Yes, I can't wait to further discuss my hopes and dreams.
but you'll have to wait for next week.
Okay, well, it's been real nice chatting with you, sister friend.
Okay, bye.
Bye.